If only this had some jingle bells in it.
It's
The most wonderful time of the year.
it's not even Thanksgiving yet.
Don't care. Starbucks released their holiday drinks.
That is still no reason to play Mariah Carey.
All I want for Christmas is you, David.
That's not how the song goes, though I appreciate the sentiment.
I don't want a lot for Christmas. Just you.
I read somewhere that is an insult. You don't want a lot for Christmas. Just you means basically you're not much.
Well, welcome to our podcast.
Anyway.
Again, our second one.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we had a great release of our first podcast. It was awesome. Thank you all for listening and joining us. So my name is Noelle.
You did
Go
it
ahead.
again.
I know.
You did
I
it.
have to gesture to
You
you.
don't-
I cannot help it.
Hey, but I just did. I went the same. I did the same thing. So your behavior is rubbing off on me. Now I am gesturing you when you should. When I feel like
Well,
you
I'm
should
really
talk.
thankful to be the good influence in your life.
I would say you're an influencer. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I really am actually, on a serious note, excited to start listening to Christmas music. I feel like it's been a tough year, and bringing joy and baby Jesus and Christmas
It's
and
not
jingle
time
bells
yet.
and big band.
It's not time yet. Listen, if you are a musician out there, please, somebody write Thanksgiving songs. That would cure this entire thing. Like if we had a subscription that just played like a playlist of Thanksgiving,
Turkeys.
good Thanksgiving music, then nobody would feel the need to, at this point of the season, jump right into Christmas, skipping a national pastime.
Yeah, but also, though, there is no such thing as Black Friday anymore. It's like Black season. So I feel like we need to start the Christmas music while we're doing the Christmas discount shopping. Then we can get into Advent and not have to worry about anything. See what I'm saying? Speaking of,
I don't know. I want my Thanksgiving.
people don't know about our historical every single post-Thanksgiving year fight. Post-Thanksgiving every year fight.
And you feel that we should
I feel like we
subject
should
them to
talk
that.
about this really quick because it's kind of relevant to our topic for today. But that in my family, we always set up the Christmas tree right after Thanksgiving. That weekend was spent decorating for Christmas. And David was irate, to be honest.
Irate makes me sound like an abusive husband. Like when you're irate as a husband, it's like he was seeing red and he started throwing things. Do husbands throw things, or is that typically the wife?
I don't know. Maybe it's both. But here's the thing,
Okay.
though. It's like
People were flying down the stairs.
you were
Wow.
Grinchy. Okay, how about Grinchy?
I can. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, because, he was like, this is Advent. This is not Christmas. We cannot set up a Christmas tree. But I'm like, no, you prepare your house for your baby. You set up a nursery. So we're setting up our Christmas decorations to prepare for the coming of baby Jesus. And so David and we came to a compromise after many years of this argument that
It doesn't
we would
sound like
have-
it's a compromise.
Well, I'm telling you what our compromise is.
Oh, you mean what was the phrase? You are
Giving you an opportunity.
Giving me an opportunity.
To compromise with me that we set up our Advent tree. So we have a tree and we decorate it purple and pink, and that stays up until we get closer to Christmas, and then we do a Christmas tree.
Yes, Christmas Eve, the night before Christmas, that's when we set up the Christmas decorations, because then it's like the
No.
Christmas season.
No,
That's
not
the way we
night
did it in my
before.
family. My
That's
dad would
because
only
you guys
set
are
up the tree.
procrastinators.
He would only set up the tree like
Oh,
the Christmas Eve, and it became a tradition. So now anything different, I can't break out of that.
I know family traditions are hard, which brings us to our topic of, marriage being hard.
Yeah, I thought that was our first episode. Was that that we
This
talked
is just
nothing about
one
that?
long
No, we did talk about the dumpster fire-ish
challenge.
The
Marriage.
one long perpetual dumpster fire.
There we go.
All right, well, let's get into that dumpster fire even more by talking about the opposite of fire, what extinguishes fire, which is water, which brings us to the title of our podcast episode today, which is Find a Wife Who Will Go Over a Waterfall with You in a Canoe.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of water in a waterfall. Like how many gallons statistically?
Statistically, probably 50,000.
Yeah, because you're good at making up statistics.
If you
I believe,
say-
I believe them.
Yeah, if you say a statistic with confidence, you know,
You didn't
it's
sound
true.
confident. You said probably.
That's true.
There's no
I went
room for
more
probably in
probability.
statistics. You should. That word is just not existent. Non-existent. even.
Non-existent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one time, David and I when we were dating, we went canoeing. That we only went one time.
That was all it took. That was back when my family lived in Massachusetts. Now they live in Texas. But yeah, there's a lot of room for canoeing in Massachusetts, isn't there?
Yeah. So we went out. We took the canoe. We went on this river somewhere
This
near your
river,
house.
it's called the Charles. How can
Okay.
you not?
Okay.
On behalf of everyone from New England, I am so sorry for my wife. Don't
Geography
you,
is not my strong. We don't need to know geography
What
anymore.
is your strong point? Cooking?
You know that's a sore spot in my
That's why I said it.
life.
That's why. Burned.
Yeah, burned literally. It's not even roasted. It's burned. It just goes straight to burn.
Boom. Roasted would
gosh.
be nice, but it's
Okay.
boom, burned.
Okay, mister. I went online to order online chestnuts. What are online chestnuts? That doesn't even make any sense. Okay. That's a private joke. That doesn't make sense.
Well, let's get it out in the open now because you went there. You start, and it just relates to what we were opening with. You started playing Mariah Carey Christmas songs earlier in the day. So that's it. I'm buying online chestnuts or chestnuts online. You can say it either way. Like if she's going to do this, then I'm going to do that. And it escalated like North and South Korea.
Yeah, we battled it out with our Christmas traditions. We were very aggressive with our Christmas traditions.
We were irate.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So we were dating on the Charles.
Yeah. We dated on a lot of rivers. So not just
one.
Yes.
So we faced quite a few challenges of the water was kind of low, and so we had to hop over branches.
Let's back up. Let's back up a bit. This was I think it was the first adventure that we had taken in the dating, kind of segment of our courtship. Was that, or was it World Youth Day? No, World Youth Day was the first kind of adventure.
That was way later.
World Youth Day was?
Yeah, in Australia.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because I thought you would propose in Australia, and I thought that would be an amazing memory. But
so this really was the first adventure of our relationship.
I guess you could say that.
Oh, I do say that. Yes,
Anything for us outdoors is an adventure, really.
I just want to say this. I don't know if I've ever shared this with you. I feel like I have, but the experience there, like gearing up for getting ready to go on this canoe trip, I had I don't know how to describe it other than like a feeling or
love.
No, it wasn't that.
Okay.
That would have been premature. I mean, if I said
I was in love,
I love you, you would have been like, okay, I like you too. Maybe not. But I got a feeling, or that tonight's going to be a good night. No, just that like there was something about this canoe trip that was going to be symbolic. It could be symbolic of our marriage, future marriage, or maybe it was just this thought that like if we can make it through this canoe trip, and I'm not like a big canoeer or whatever. And the Charles, maybe there's some rapids, but not where we're. But I just had this feeling like this is going to be like symbolic of what we're going to go through. And if we can go through this canoe trip and make it through it, and I'm going to pay attention to how she responds with each little challenge, how she acts.
Wow. So this was a test.
It kind of was. Yeah, I'm what I was going to see you do was, it was, yes, we're going to go with that. It was a test, full on. I never told you that.
I tested you too, just saying.
What was my test? Yours
Driving,
was the canoe trip.
Music, chivalry, paying for our lunches and dinners.
Obviously, I passed all those with
There were
flying
many
colors.
tests. You did. You got a 99%.
Oh, man.
I mean, leave it to you to turn a basic, simple activity into something full of metaphor and deep meaning. I was just like, okay, we're going on a canoe. not super
No,
my
no,
thing,
no,
but
no,
all
no, no,
right.
no, no, no. Like, leave it to you. Okay, you have like a list of like 12 different tests that I got to go through. The gauntlet, each one is a gauntlet, and then I just have one simple thing. Let's get in a boat. Like, obviously, you are more picky.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Boom, roasted.
why? What is there about me to be picky about? I'm just saying. No. So
A
we
canoe trip
just
answered
kidding.
it all. A
Just
canoe.
kidding.
Let's get
Okay,
into it. Let's
get
get into
into
it.
it. I'm
Yeah.
trying to.
Like literally, let's get into the canoe.
Okay. Yeah. So we
Okay.
were canoeing, and there were quite a few challenges, from spiders to having to climb over branches. I sat on a branch and it broke. That was really embarrassing.
Wait, so and that was part of the test.
The canoe had to go under.
Yeah, like the Charles River had it's. I mean, there wasn't rapids, but there's like like I don't know anything about nature. There's like the long grass growing
Weeds.
in the. Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
Okay. Weeds growing out of the water like that we had to navigate through, and then there's like dead trees, whatever, right in front of the river, over the river, and the canoe had to go under that, and we went over that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we went over that, did you sit on the log?
Yes.
And you broke the
I
entire
broke
thing.
the whole tree.
It snapped clear in half, clearing our path.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good. That was a good sign, but your weight was a little bit concerned.
Wow. Okay. Oh man. No. Well, when David sat on it, it flung him across the mountain. I'm just kidding.
It was like a catapult. Okay.
Yeah, it was super embarrassing.
Were you
You
embarrassed when that happened, when you broke
Yeah,
the
I
log?
was. I was super embarrassed because you were so skinny. And I was very self-conscious about that. I mean, you have really,
Okay. Okay.
built up muscle and,
Fat.
I didn't say that. You've become such a solid, I'm
thick-
sorry. No,
thick.
a thick skin no, just, yeah, I was very self-conscious about my weight as compared to yours. Let's just put it that way. Okay.
Wow.
It's like when we first were dating, I don't think we said this in the last podcast, but about how I had put the wrong weight range on my profile. And I said,
on the dating website.
on the dating
Yeah,
website.
for those of you that are just tuning in.
and
that's
and
where
it
we
was
met, yeah.
a lot higher than what I weighed. And so I called you and I was like, I'm not going to tell you how much I weigh, but just so you know, it's not that. And you were like, baby, what can I say? I like my women like I like my peanut butter, chunky. And that really meant a lot to me.
Great.
It really brought tears to my eyes. Yeah.
Great line. So all the guys out there who are discerning marriage and you're trying to find a beautiful bunny, please feel free to use that line as well in your courtship.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So the
So I broke
log
the tree.
broke. Yeah. But that wasn't a deal breaker, even though it was a log breaker.
Okay, no more applause.
All right, that was
button
the
for your
last one. That
jokes.
was the last one. Like
No
yeah.
more. Okay, but then we came
What
to
else
this
happened?
waterfall.
Well, wait. You skipped a few things.
It's okay.
Okay, let's
They
go.
weren't that
Let's
exciting.
go to the.
Get to the waterfall.
No, they were exciting. Like the times that when we were among the reeds. That's what they were. They weren't weeds. They were reeds. The same kind of sound. They rhyme. But totally different plant. We were among the reeds, and suddenly it became very apparent that we were alone. And I thought it would be a great time, because the U.S. government wasn't spying on us too much with drones back then. I thought it would be a great time to cross over from the back of the canoe, and
Slang.
give you a kiss. And that was exciting.
I don't remember that at all.
Well, I do.
Well, apparently, since this whole thing was a test. Okay, but then get to the next part.
Okay, that was the next part. So yeah, I think we were going back, weren't we? And we came across a waterfall, and I believe, if we're ranking the challenges that we faced on this canoe trip, this gauntlet test of our relationship and what our marriage would look like, This was bigger than the log breaking and the kissing. It was we were going to go off a waterfall together.
We
in this
saw it
canoe.
coming.
Right.
We saw it. I was like, oh no, we should turn around.
It was right out of the movies, like, you know, what they do,
Yep.
how people react in the movies, characters react in the movies, like to a waterfall. That was legit, you know,
Yeah.
representation.
Well, I wanted to turn around, and you were like, no, we can make it. We got this.
Is that what I said?
Because now I realize this was the test, so it makes sense. So you were like, okay, paddle as hard as you can. So we're paddling and paddling.
Yeah.
We're getting right to the edge.
And it
Then
turned
we're
out
airborne.
to be it wasn't really
And we just land.
it wasn't it was a waterfall, but it was a 1 foot waterfall, but you couldn't tell how high it was based on where we were, you know, the angle of and how far we are away from it. So like you just see water going over an edge, you freak out because you barely know, you know, anything
we're
about
not nature
canoeing.
people.
Right. No, we're just people that kiss among the reeds, like
And forget about it.
so basically, like, yeah, that there was like this big geared up, oh my gosh, and plunk,
Clunk.
and,
Yeah.
and I think we got
got stuck.
The canoe, the bottom of the canoe was hitting, you know, the bottom of the river, and then the top of the canoe was still stuck at the back of the waterfall. So
We had to climb out.
We had to climb out and then push everything free, and then that was pretty much, it was anticlimactic.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Anticlimactic.
Climac.
It was without climax.
It was anticlimax.
It's a different podcast. Oh my gosh, David. So anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's our whole marriage, basically. right?
Anticlimax.
And like, oh gosh. Moving along as fast as possible.
In a canoe.
Yeah.
Let's paddle faster. Yeah, that was basically the gauntlet test of, symbolically speaking, what our marriage life, you know, would be. And I think in 13 years, being married, it wasn't too far off. In what ways would you relate our marriage currently, you know, what we've been through, you know, and just everything, what we've been through, to the canoe trip? What would you say has been the relation?
I mean, if somebody had told me, okay, if we were getting on this canoe and you were like, okay, we're getting on the canoe, you're going to break a tree, we're going to get stuck on a waterfall. Do you still want to go?
Wait, you missed out the kissing.
Oh, and the kissing
among
part.
the lilies.
But then we're going to kiss among the reeds. Oh my gosh. There's going to be spiders crawling on you at some point. Do you still want to go? I would be like, no, that doesn't sound super fun to me. Some people would be maybe more up for that type of thing. But if somebody had told us all the things that we were going to face in our marriage and said, do you still want to do this? I really would have to pause and think about this, because, and certainly there are people there, you know, out there that have experienced more difficulties and greater struggles than we have even. But what an adventure it has been. And we talked about this earlier. Like, if we were to make a list of all the challenges, you know, that it would really depress us, from job loss to having no money to going to Catholic Charities for groceries 1 month, you know.
But also compare those challenges that we've had to the list of expectations that we had on marriage and of what it would be like, or it's going to be like this, and that romanticized idea, you know, that either you get from theology books, you know, really bad theology books, or really bad Hallmark cards.
Yeah, and it doesn't even match.
The challenges and your expectations, the reality versus expectations is completely there. So the joblessness, the pandemic, the joblessness caused by the pandemic, the kids, you know, experiencing the weird, you know, asthmatic attacks, and then we're all in the emergency room with them,
one after the other.
The car wrecks, not wrecks, but the one car goes out, and then the other car gets like hit and run, you know, at the same time.
Parents with chronic health issues. You know, there's so many things, but it's like, you know, Father Mike Schmidt said in one of his Bible in a Year podcasts, he's like, you know, when the Israelites were freed from Egypt and things get hard, they're like, we want to go back. It was just better. Well, no, it wasn't. But when you get to the next challenge, it's so easy to forget the miracles. And he said that, like, wow, how easy it is to forget the miracles. And so, yeah, we can look back on the canoe trip and be like, yeah, that we expected to like conquer this waterfall and we got stuck and we had to climb out and get messy and and fix it. But we did it together and we came on the other side together. Even if we disagreed with how to handle the situation, even if we didn't really fully want to face this or do this, we did it together. And that's really kind of our marriage over 13 years has been like, it's been messy, it's been hard, but we've done this together. And we could make a list equally as long of the miracles, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Every single one of those every single one of those waterfalls has had a God moment like that we could go back and be like, this is what God did in that. Like, you know, remember, like, it was like this and you know, I think you said this prayer or whatever. And then, you know, shortly after, like, this happened. Every single one of those waterfalls, we were not left hanging, you know, like we were on the river, you know, between the bottom and the top of the waterfall. It was like literally like God gets us through it. And we just have to kind of like rest. That's always been the case or what happens. It's truly that scripture verse that's or that passage that's like all you do is just sleep in the back of the boat during the storm. Mm-hmm. Like, hasn't that been like the word that comes to us during the waterfalls of our marriage? It's like, I just want you to sit here and trust. Mm-hmm. Like in prayer, that's what happens. Like the word, I don't know what you call it if you're traditional or charismatic or whatever, but just like the sense that you get in prayer, like and all these things, like what God is saying is, I just want you to rest right now, and I just want you to surrender, like all faithfully. That has been the word through all these waterfalls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to not worry has been hard, but that do not worry and do not be afraid really kind of comes with experience of having had those miracles happen. Like, I don't think that, you know, when we're going through the next challenge and we start to have all the anxiety and all the different fears that come up, to have the comfort of looking back, like, you know, hey, we've been here before. We've done something hard before. God showed up in that. It's going to be okay. That's the rest, I think. You have this history to look at, like, yeah, this is a crazy challenge that we're facing right now. We've had friends that are facing things that they never thought that they would ever face in their marriage. They're facing these things, but to have the comfort to know, like, okay, is God here? Is God in this? Do we trust him? Yes, then okay, we're going to come out on the other side.
Now, speaking about coming out on the other side, or rather the flip side of this, you and I were just talking to a group of high schoolers, high school teens, and I asked them the question, and it was addressed to all of them, like, what do you think people think about getting married and having a family? Like, what do people your age, you know, think about?
Well, you said, do they want to?
Yeah.
Do they want to get married and have
the
a family?
majority of them were pretty vocal of saying, like,
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that, or no way.
Yeah.
And this, oh my gosh. So that was one thing. But then this one kid, you know, good for him for being, you know, vocal and at least, you know, full disclosure or honest, whatever you want to, you know, call that, what he did. But he said straight up, what was it? I don't know how anybody can stay
can love the same person.
Love the same person
forever.
For forever or for that long.
Yeah.
And it was this moment of, like, everything that we've been through, you know, in marriage, and knowing, like, full well, like, the commitment that we're going into it to this thing with, you know, what we talked about that, you know, with the first episode, like, and then everything we've been through, and then hearing that young person, like, say, you know, I don't want to say too much about them, like, but hearing them say that was shocking. Like, what do you mean? It was like this flood. Like, you mean you would never go off the waterfall with somebody? You would never go down that river with somebody? Like, what? You're going to pick up another person on the boat?
I know, right? Like,
all right, you get out.
You get out, yeah.
Or actually, there's room for 3.
No, no. But oh my goodness, but that is the thing.
That's
Yes,
the thing.
that's the thing.
Is another thing.
Yeah, there's room for more. Okay, but then
Or
having
just
to,
myself. I just want myself
Right.
in the canoe.
Right. I am the only person that can make me happy. But that's like the guy that you spoke with on the plane that one time who was dating somebody for like 7 years and he was afraid to propose. And he said to you like, well, what if somebody better comes along? And I love your response to him when you're like, there's always going to be somebody better that comes along. There's going to be somebody more beautiful. There's going to be somebody more,
Well, not in the case
rich.
of me. I mean, clearly this
Rich
specimen,
or beautiful?
If I had to pick one, it's a tough choice. What do I
If
want
I
to
had to
be
pick one.
more of?
Right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but having that comfort of the person who loves you for you when you have none of those things. When beauty fades
Or just when
there's
you're being
joblessness.
a jerk. Like
Yeah.
like you're not beautiful when you're a jerk, and you could be the most attractive person in the world. And like that person though that you are married to, your spouse, like if they're loving you in that moment of your ugly, nasty attitude, like and you just can't help it because you need to have a meltdown every now and then. It's like
Right.
That's love.
It's a profound love.
But the best line that I could say, I said to him that young person, it was a young guy. Like I'll just say, I don't want to say too much, about the situation or whatever, to give it away. But somebody out there is like, I know exactly who he's talking about. No, like my line to them, if I could go back, I would say more. But my line to them was, if you think that love is a feeling, then you're absolutely right. But if love is a choice, then no, it is possible.
Mm-hmm.
And the world needs to see that.
Right. And I think that too many people see marriage as like the ball and chain kind of a thing, like it restricts your freedom, which is interesting because the vocation of marriage, the Catechism says, this is where you learn to love more perfectly. It grows you and stretches you in a love, deep and profound love, but it's supposed to protect you. It's supposed to protect your vulnerability. It's the sacrament that really protects your core identity, your relationship, your children, and their identity. That's where they first experience love, is in the family.
Yeah.
And so, having that in the right order. But then also, I wish that I had had a chance to say, well, look at our culture right now. Marriage is at an all-time low. Divorce is at an all-time high, or it's only low because marriages are at an all-time low. Where everybody says be with whoever you want whenever you want. Are those people happy?
And the antidepressants are super high, like taking that the death by liver cirrhosis. Was it cirrhosis of the liver? Is that was what it's called?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Failure. What does it say? Liver failure caused by drinking. Like that's all also at a high. The suicide rate is at a high. We have all these deaths of despair in our country. It's
and
hard
loneliness.
to say, and loneliness. It's hard to say like yeah, things are going great. Like what?
Yeah.
Shouldn't that be like? Given all those that death of despair, like shouldn't we like have a wake up call? Like whoa, we got to reevaluate where this canoe is going. Like we got to like stop being so just progressive for the sake of being progressive. And stop, looking backwards. Like we got to go back, and stay at the, where we were before. Like I guess that's the negative side of traditionalism, or whatever. But it's like, where are we going? And that, because that's where you can start to reevaluate. Where we've been, where are we now, and wait, where are we headed? And that's the beauty of Catholicism. Like it's like we know where we've been. We know where we are right now. We know where we've been. We know what Christ did when he showed up and what effect that had. And then also we know where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
We know where everything's going. The destiny of all things is back to God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and having that transformation that only God can really bring about in us, that I can't change myself. God will transform me, grafting myself onto him. But then also just thinking about, thinking about a relationship with God that transforms but also heals. When we so want to be vulnerable and share our wounds with each other, but we stay in those wounds sometimes, like We glorify our wounds. We'll put it out on social media and be like, yeah, I'm just going to be honest here. I'm wrestling with this. But do we come back to the healing? Have we had healing? Because in those little victories of the canoe ride, for example, there has to be a point of healing and coming out on the other side. Because if we stay stuck in the waterfall, we never get out. We never get messy and do what it takes to get unstuck. Then yeah, we are going to despair.
Yeah.
So.
Well, something that I appreciated about you was you were willing to, we went on the canoe ride. It wasn't like this thing that's just like, I don't know, David. I'm not really, it was like kind of like a thing that we're not even, neither of us is like true, like really into.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that also was a sign. I don't know if you want to call it a sign or just check that off the test, or whatever. She passed that, this is right. Because in the few other dates that I've had, given your extensive repertoire of dating and past, where you've been with so many men, and my
don't say it like that,
and my inexperience based on just no one would date me. That basically, like, I remember dates where I would suggest something to my date and hey, let's do this, and it was that spontaneity kind of thing that you like, about my temperament, my personality. Like, they would not respond. And so I appreciated that about you, that the canoe ride in general, just hey, let's do this, and yeah, okay, even though it's something that neither of us had any business doing.
And we have never done again.
Never, ever, ever. We know what that entails. Yeah. Well, at least he's wearing clothes.
Yeah, right. I know. Oh my goodness. Well, on that note, yeah, go for the canoe ride. Find yourself somebody who will go on the adventure with you.
And go off a waterfall with you, even though it's only 1 foot.
Amen.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to Somehow I Marriage. I am David.
And I'm Noelle. We'll see you. Feel free to check us out on YouTube. We should be on Spotify soon. We're on Podbean. And you can visit our Patreon account if you want to support us. Thanks.